Alright guys, I want to share with you a very cool watch from Seiko. It's no longer in production, I don't believe anyway. This is the sary055. I look back, I don't think I've done a video on this particular one. My friend Tere sent this over, and here's the spec, or the hang tag if you want to read it. It is a JDM model. I believe it has a sapphire crystal in my research. I looked up on Long Island Watch. They're out of stock. Everyone's out of stock, so I think you have to either look at the secondary market or eBay or something like that. But let's just get into the size. And for the people that actually know what the sary055 is supposed to look like, this one does not look like the stock one. This one is a modded watch, and I'll cover that in a moment as well. So size-wise, we are looking at, I measure 41.9. Let's double check that, but yeah, it's like, it's not a 40, it's like closer to a 42 width, but like most Seiko watches, it wears more like a 41. It definitely doesn't wear like a 42. The lug to lug is a 49, but you can see a very sharp turn down non-drilled lugs on this guy. And 11.9 thick, that's the with the flat, I'm reading sapphire crystal. And 22 millimeter lug width here, bracelet tapers down to 20. Simple fold over stamp clasp, only 2 micro adjust on this. I was able to size it using the supplied pin and collars, but the collar is captured in the center piece, so it's a little easier to do than some of the divers I've done in the past. Non-screw down crown, I believe it's a 50 meter water resist, or maybe it's 100. You know, Seiko usually does 100 on these. If we can read it on the back here somewhere. It's like printed on the hard Lex on the back. Sorry for the distortion. I'm sure it's 100. Seiko never does like 50, they always do 100. So you can see on the back there it has a 4R36. You have the day and the date. This particular one also has the Kanji Day Wheel. So actually if we, let's go ahead and spin this around. So you can see you have English, and then you have the characters. So those are always fun to, I mean, if you care or don't care what they look like, they're just kind of fun to have those displayed instead of, you know, the English. Kind of fun. The dial is pretty simple. You have the Seiko applied on there. You have the automatic that's typed on there. You have Made in Japan on there. You have a nice, almost like pearl type like chapter ring on this with a bunch of hash marks on it. You have a very clean off-white dial on this, has a little bit of shimmer to it, applied indices that are just polished, and then the mod part of this watch is the handset. Now traditionally you would have a blue toned hand on this watch. This one was modded and it has a loomed handset that really kind of, in my opinion, seem like they belong on this watch versus the blue toned hands that were on it previously, although those hands would have matched the blue printing on the outer chapter ring. I think this handset just works better. There's no other loom on the indices, so that's kind of a bummer, but you know, do we really need the loomed hands on this? Well, I mean, if you're wearing it more like a sport type watch instead of a dress watch, yeah, might be kind of nice. Signed crown. Let's pop this guy on wrist real quick so we can check that out on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. You can see it's absolute perfection on my wrist. I mean, like most Seiko watches, as soon as you put it on, it feels at home. You know, you could do leather straps with this easily. Dare I say, maybe even some NATOs. I mean, if you're a NATO guy, why not? There's some like off-white, really cool cream type NATOs on there that are out there. So you could mix and match. I don't have a problem with that. I think it would look pretty good. So anyway, guys, there's a quick look at the sary055, and there are some other colorways, I believe, under that. If you search like 5.3 or 5.7, if you ever want to have some fun and you're just bored in the middle of the night or something, I guess it's not really fun. It's fun for us watch addicts, but you can get on there and you go on a little treasure hunt and type in the first numbers of a Seiko model and then start playing around with the evens and the odds. The evens are going to have a gold tone to them typically somewhere on the watch, and then the odd ones are just going to be a regular stainless model. So there's a bunch of watches out there that you don't even know existed until you start really digging. I've done that many times. It's kind of fun. I should probably take notes and revisit it, because some of them are gems out there that are hidden and people haven't played with. So it does have that gold tone rotor on there, so that's kind of cool. But I think that's just because it's part of the Presage line. So you can see there, Presage mechanical, made in Japan. 38,000 yen, whatever that translated to. I think on eBay a brand new one right now, not with these mod hands, I think is trending somewhere between 400 and 600. I looked at the sold market on the non-modded ones, and they range in the used market, after, you know, the secondary market, anywhere from like 250 all the way up to 400-ish. So they're kind of a wide spread of prices. Availability could be an issue. I don't know. So if you guys have one, or if you're looking for one, you know, let me know your thoughts on it. I think it's a great watch. I think it fits really good, and it's nice to revisit some of the old ones out there. There's still some deals out there to be had on it. So anyway, let me close you out with a Loom shot. Big thanks to Tere for sending this in. And of course you have the Seiko Loom on there. If it'll kind of focus maybe, or not. Wow, no focus. Anyway, you can see that there is Loom on the hour, minute, and seconds, but nothing else on the dial. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next vid.